Okay, so now I'm about to channel, so I've written down everything that I want balanced, hormones, whatever you want to write on this piece of paper, the dopamine, serotonin, you're telling your physical body's consciousness, I want you to balance this for my highest good. As the Ascended Masters are channeling through, you're going to be open to receiving that. That way, if there's any doubt for receiving from the Ascended Masters, like if your ego's questioning it, that's okay. It's going to override the ego, and your physical body's consciousness is connected to all consciousness, and it openly and readily receives from the Ascended Masters. So that's why we're skipping over the ego and going straight to the physical body's consciousness, and the physical body's consciousness will work with the Ascended Masters to transmute fears back to love. Now, remember, after these channelings, it takes a few weeks to integrate. You might have some strange dreams. You might have some emotions come up, or some physical aches and pains as the emotions release from the body or transmute from fear back to love. So just be gentle with yourself, and I'm going to get started. Thanks for watching. Have a great night. Oh yes, welcome. I am Saint Germain. We welcome you all. We would say it is time to celebrate the human body. You have come to planet Earth, and you have landed into this physical body. You have created a costume in your play here on planet Earth, and many of you are criticizing your costume. You are saying it does not fit good enough. It is too tight, or it is too big, or it is too ugly, or it is too fat, or I am too skinny. There are so many we would say judgments upon the physical body, when it is consciousness. It is wanting your love. We would not use the terminology wanting. We would say it is seeking your love. Could you not see the perfection within it? Each time that you criticize yourself, you are saying that you are something less than perfection, when every cell in your body, the millions of cells in your body, are vibrating in conscious love. They are vibrating in God consciousness. They are vibrating in divine essence, and this is the base for every cell in the human body. This is the base for everything in your human existence. There is always a divine essence at the bottom of it. Could you look deeper into the physical body and see the beauty within it? Could you look deeper into the physical body and see its perfection? It is seeking your love. It is desiring to be loved. We would say that it is time to celebrate. As you are eating your foods, we would say, as we have mentioned before, do not criticize yourself. Tell oneself you are doing the best you can with the options you have at this time. There are many of you who do not have access to healthier foods. We would say to pray over your food, or Reiki over your food, or put intention over your food to transmute fears back to love, put the divine essence of that which you are into the food before you consume it. It would be that as the belief becomes created in the mind, it will begin to see the food that you have put a blessing over, or have channeled us through you into the food. Our divine frequencies would be seen by the physical body's consciousness, and it would not react so harshly. There are many of you with allergies, and there are many of you with sensitivities, and there are many of you who do not have access to higher vibrating foods. We would say that it is time to stop criticizing yourself. You are doing the best you can at all times. There are many in the collective who have had past lifetimes of starvation and obesity. We would say that this is many of you had spouses that criticized you, or parents who criticized your physical body, or teachers. There was always an authority figure who was criticizing you, pointing out your faults. This would be in many lifetimes, not just one. We are tapping into the frequencies of this criticism. This was reflecting back to you how you were your own ego is criticizing yourself. It is always a reflection. There have been many, many lifetimes where you would have been belittled or put down or criticized. There were many lifetimes where you had a fear of starvation, or you had starvation or lack of food in those lifetimes. It is a great soul expansion to have these experiences. We would say not to judge them. They are not wrong. Many of you have signed up to come to planet Earth to experience what it would be like to have lack in certain areas in your life, and therefore created different scenarios. You created different experiences within each lifetime to view the polarity of what you are. So when you come to planet Earth and you have a lack of food, this would be a great soul expansion. This would not be seen from our point of view as suffering or struggling. It would be an experience. And as you have come to this lifetime, and maybe in this lifetime you have enough food, but you are still carrying the old belief systems that you will starve. Many of you are overeating or not feeling safe. We would say we are bringing through frequencies for the sacral chakra and the crown chakra and the third eye to transmute fears back to love around these lifetimes of starvation and also around the lifetimes of obesity. One moment, please. We would say Buddha is here. There are many of you working with Buddha at this time. We would say call in Buddha for your weight issues. This would be, he would assist you with feeling more joy within the physical body. We would say a big Buddha laugh would be beneficial to help propel you forward, to help you see the beauty within yourselves. We would say that it would be beneficial to laugh more, to raise your frequency to more joy as you are eating. There are many that we are seeing that are watching this video that as you eat, it is a constant criticism, or you are focused on the TV and you are eating the emotions that you are viewing on the TV. The subconscious has no reasoning. It only knows what you are putting into it. If you are watching TV and there's a stressful television show where someone is getting hurt on the TV as you're eating, it is like you're eating those emotions. We would say this would block the spleen meridian and other aspects of the physical body. We would say to be present with your food, sit quietly, and taste the consciousness within each bite. Chew slower and make it more of a, we would say a meditation experience. This could be a meditative practice with my food. Can I connect my consciousness with the consciousness in the food? If I do that, would my body not see it as love, as I'm putting this food into my body? Would it not see it as divine love instead of harmful? We would say that there are people asking the question, is it safe to eat meat? Is it safe, or should I have vegetables or be vegetarian? And we would say that there is consciousness within all things. There is consciousness within the meat that you eat, but there's also consciousness within the vegetables that you eat. There is no difference from killing an animal or killing a plant in the aspect that both are consciousness at its essence. We would say if you are a meat eater and you are enjoying your meat, to continue to enjoy your meat. If you are feeling it's good for your physical body's consciousness, then continue to do so. If your intuition is telling you that you would, your body would resonate rather with vegetarian diet, then do that. But we can see in the audience, we would not call it the audience. One moment, please. We can see in the viewers' questions and in their eating habits that many of you are criticizing yourself for eating meat or forcing yourself to be vegetarian when your physical body's consciousness isn't resonating with that. We would say rather than focus, I have to be this way or on this diet or that diet, begin to form a relationship with your food and ask your body, your physical body's consciousness, what would be best for it. Get into the vibrational frequency that you can feed your body what it requires based on your intuition rather than what you read in a book or what other people tell you to eat. There are many who went on a vegetarian diet but then got sick, and they're saying, well, I thought that it was good for me, but now I'm just confused. And we would say that it depends on the DNA and the heritage and what you were raised on. There are many belief systems running through each physical body, and if there is a belief system from a past lifetime that you must eat meat in order to survive, and you're bringing that belief into this lifetime and you become vegetarian, the physical body is saying, well, we have a belief running, a program running that we will die if we don't eat meat, and so it will begin that process. You are believing that what you read on TV or watch on TV or read in a book is the right way or what someone says, and we would say your intuition will tell you what is best for you. It is not the same for everyone else. Maybe pick a few different things from one or two other people's ideas and ask if this resonates with me. Continue to read your books or watch your healthy eating channels, but we would say to check in before committing to something. There are many of you forcing yourself to be one way or forcing yourself to be on a certain diet, and it is making you depressed. There are many chemicals in the brain that are imbalanced because it is a constant punishment. I am punishing myself. There are many of you punishing yourself with food, whether you're holding back food or feeding your body what you consider the wrong thing. We would say begin a relationship with your physical body's consciousness and with the consciousness of food. We would say to sit with it and see how it feels and eat quietly, as we had mentioned earlier, and find out the relationship. We would also say to observe your ego thoughts. Do not attach to them, but observe them as they float by on your body image. Could you stand in front of a mirror without your clothes on and look at yourself? Many of you cannot. There are too many ego attacks with this. This causes one to begin to criticize yourself. Instead, could you talk to your physical body and begin to love it? Could you tell it how beautiful it looks? And when you stand in front of a mirror, put that as a new program. I am beautiful. I am imperfection. I am God consciousness. I am wearing this human costume and it is beautiful on me. And begin to change some of those belief systems of that self-judgment. It is always reflecting back to you. If you go out to the beach and you are in your bathing suit and you are seeing people look at you and you are feeling shameful, you are running the program of shame, which is blocking your sacral chakra. And we would say that this is not beneficial. When you go to the beach, you are only reflecting back to you your own ego thoughts upon yourself. If somebody is judging you on the beach, this means that your own ego is judging you as well. That would be an aha moment. This is how they are looking at me. They're looking at me with disgust. How do I look at myself with disgust? Have I criticized my inner child for overeating today? We would say to visualize your inner child and pick her up or him up and tell them how beautiful and perfect they are and that they're doing doing the best that they can at all times, instead of criticizing them for eating that ice cream. We would say, as you begin a relationship with your body and with your food, we would not recommend starving oneself or dieting. Let go of it for now, to find out what would be best for your body. Do not criticize yourself as you eat. If you are craving something that is considered detrimental to your body, not healthy, unhealthy, and your craving is loud, and you are eating the ice cream, and you are criticizing yourself, it is only going to cause the body to hang on to more fat tissue. We would say it is trying to maintain protection. It is that many of you feel, if I have weight on, I can hide behind the weight. If I have weight on, I won't be seen. If I have weight on, I will feel safe because it will be a wall of protection. It will protect me from getting my feelings hurt, and it will protect me from my inner child from being exposed. And we would say that this is a belief that are running in many of your programs that is simply not the truth. The truth would be that it would, if you were to, one moment, please. The truth is that added weight is not going to protect you. We need to give the inner child a new story. We would say to hold your inner child, connect with your heart, connect with your inner child, and tell her that she is in perfection and she does not need to put on the weight to protect you. This would be beneficial in letting go of many beliefs that the weight would keep you safe. We would say to follow the non-criticism. You will not get a big head. We would say to compliment yourself. If you constantly compliment yourself, the body will begin to feel loved. It is every time you criticize it, it is saying, why can't you see my perfection? Why don't you see my consciousness? I am divine love. How come you cannot see it? And it begins to break down. It begins to create illnesses. We would say to form this relationship. It is a hyper-focusing for many of you on your food addiction or body image. It is a hyper-focusing from the super ego and the ego. They're running the program to hyper-focus on this area. As you watch your ego thoughts float by and stop attaching to them as it is criticizing you or as it is telling you to eat unhealthy foods, when you begin to simply observe it, then the ego loses its grip and the hyper-focus on the physical body settles. You will begin to realize that you haven't weighed yourself in a few days, or you haven't criticized yourself, or you haven't noticed your physical body. We would say that as Tara has begun letting go of her food addiction, her hyper-focus on the physical body no longer exists. She is not aware when she is putting on weight or when she is losing weight because she is not so hyper-focused on it. When you are hyper-focused on something, this is an ego attachment. It is the ego creating a hyper-focus. It is convincing you if you hyper-focus on this, then it will be better. And we would say it will hyper-focus on the negative. It will hyper-focus on what is physically wrong with you, or it will begin criticizing you. If one is to hyper-focus on their mental body's consciousness, then they are hyper-focusing on their mental body. They will end up with a mental dis-ease in the body. If they are hyper-focused on the physical body, they will end up with a physical body imbalance. If they are hyper-focused on the emotional body, they will be a basket case of emotions. that and then people will say, oh, they are always upset or crying, or they're always emotional. When you are hyper focused on a certain area of your being, then it will snowball into more ego criticisms. And we would say, change your focus. I am always focused on my physical body. What if I focused on how good I am at something instead? What if I started to paint every day and focused on that? It would take the focus away from the physical body. Watch your thoughts with this, though, because the ego consciousness will begin to criticize your painting. It is simply an observation. Observe the ego as it floats by, but do not attach to it. We would say that many of you will begin losing weight as you get more of a connection to the consciousness within your physical body, and you begin to see yourself in perfection. There are many of you that have had hormone imbalances or struggles after childbirth, or within your thyroid, as the physical body and the mental body and the emotional body and the spiritual body are going through the awakening process. Things are shifting and moving. Frequencies are being transmuted from fear back to love. And we would recommend to be gentle with oneself and be gentle with each of your bodies, and respect them and observe them with love instead of hate. Observe them with consciousness, and they will begin to form into a more balanced image in your mind. It is all perception. If somebody is anorexic, they are perceiving themselves to not be in perfection. They are seeing fat when there is not fat there. It is always perception of how one sees oneself. And it is that many of these are obsessive compulsive disorder that drives the food disorder. We would say that the bulimia and anorexia are driven by more of an obsession compulsion, which would be in the blockages in the sacral chakra, the addiction. We would say that focus on balancing the energy in the sacral chakra and the root chakra for security and for addiction issues. This is also the area of running guilt and shame. We would say to watch your thoughts. Do not shame or guilt yourself when you eat something that you considered to be detrimental. We would say that all is well on planet Earth. You are all beautiful, and begin to see the beauty within oneself. Blessings.